in my 30s and I still look like I'm in my 20s. I just want to ask people out there, Obama, politicians, other people, Donald Trump, everybody. You guys, Geraldo Rivera, you'd covered the atrocities that were going on with mentally ill patients in New York. Wasn't it back in the 80s whenever you guys, or was it the 70s when you guys unraveled the horrors, the horrific atrocities that were going behind the scene that nobody knew about what was going on with mentally ill people. So the mentally ill in America have not been through the ringer enough. They have to, however mentally ill people come about, they have to be wiped out. They have to have their rights taken away from them. They have to be jerked up and taken wherever the government decides to lead them and put them, take them straight out of their like victims, take them away from their families, put them in a in a an asylum or some kind of place, torture them. Go ahead and torture people. Disgusting. The mentally ill people have not been through enough in this country. They have to be portrayed as villain ass, evil ass, sinister pieces of garbage, crap. um, that would go in and would kill people. Is the difference between mentally mental illness, okay, that they even have autism down there, and the different listings of things like they haven't been through enough in their lives. They haven't been tortured enough. They have to be continually tortured nonstop. They have to have their brains screwed with. If not that, then physically they have to be somehow that you have to get to mentally ill people. They have to be distraught. They have not been through enough, and they must be getting something out of torturing and putting mentally ill people and people who can't defend themselves at times through the ringers with almost like you're helping somebody out, trying to define them in a different way than what they truly are, is a sociopath. So again, tell me, how come I'm not your president? How come I'm not even considered for your president when I would say I can make a law, I can make a new gun law, I can make a new gun law everybody would be on board with? Right here, it's for sociopaths. Oh, would Obama be a sociopath? Would his behavior and how he acts line him up with being one of these people that couldn't get a gun background check? The guy who's the president right now would not be able to get a gun possibly if I made a new gun law. Not for mentally ill people, because, until Obama's gone, until this liberal nonsense stops, seriously, mentally ill people have not been through the ringer and have not been tortured enough to where we cannot we cannot let the mentally ill off the hook, and we must label them as sociopaths. So that is the true difference between uh, a what this person truly did, okay, was nonsense, and it was conducted by a sociopath. And I don't even know how come people like Trump or anybody at all cannot see that it is a sociopath, not a mentally ill person, which they basically already, the government already has about free will on them. That's like I was um, letting Geraldo have it. I'd like to punch you, Geraldo. I would really like to punch Geraldo and other people in their face. I can't believe that you would throw mentally ill people under the bus. for a sociopath and uh, a political reason. So it is completely political. So I'm kind of wondering personally. Um, I'll do it like this before I go to that. I'll stop share so you can see my face. When 9/11 happened, I was a student senator at UCC, at Umpqua Community College, when 9/11 happened. So I don't know how much of this could possibly be a message, somebody sending me a message, or somebody sending somebody else a message. Um, because there is there is maybe 200 and something different community colleges and uh, other junior colleges and stuff like that throughout the state of Oregon, but they pick my old college, UCC, which again, I don't think that there's seriously that much of a connection until the authorities or somebody tells me there in fact is. I won't actually believe that the connection is with me. It's just a crazy coincidence. And I've seen other coincidences that were just utterly hard to explain. They were just creepy, weird. I don't can't explain it, but that's the way the world works. And a lot of the times when you're dealing with smaller communities, there's less people, so people are more familiar with each other and would know who Chris Lanham is. In a community like Roseburg with 19 to 20,000 people in the city limits or around the surrounding area, I always believed that there was closer to 80 to 100,000 in the whole area. They're just talking about in the city limits when they say population of 19,000 or 22,000. So people still moving there. So people with guns versus people without guns and shootings. So we want to compare people with guns and somebody comes in there like that. There's at least 4 people in a classroom of 20 that are packing and are carrying, and not only packing and carrying, but they part of what they do, like you would go and work out. Part of their weekly routine is going to a fire range, a shooting range, and hanging out with other people who are pro marksmen, experts in the field of shooting firearms, to be able to have more respect for guns and control with the guns because they're taught gun safety when they have a gun. The people can't be taught about guns, they can only have their rights stripped away from them with guns until they actually possess one and get one legally, right? And go to classes. People cannot begin to have gun control. You can't have gun control without a gun. That's my opinion. So I'm gonna go back to screen share, and I encourage everybody, even though I put a thumb down, a thumb down. I did. See it? I put a thumb down on this video. This person right here, Jennifer Lynch, Oregon Alliance for Gun Safety. Red flags. When they say gun safety, they don't mean gun safety. They mean, hey, you're gonna have to go run, hide, run away, and possibly get shot in the back or get shot in the front, get shot somewhere if you don't have a gun to protect yourself. So, how long would this have gone down if there had been more people there that were ready to defend themselves? and they acted as their own police force at that time. So, what is the government afraid of? Because obviously we know the answer to that: people with guns versus people without guns. You know, the assailant's getting shot before the cops show up. If 4 people in the class of 20 at least have guns, if not everybody in the class, and they're good with them. So, I mean, they can draw that sucker out, that instantly. So, what makes the government so afraid of people learning guns, learning about them, and having them everywhere they go in the country? So, and like now you're looking at airports where people can't go in there with weapons at all. Um, how how is something like this if let's say one of the Taliban wants to go in bum rush an airport? Is the airport ready to stop this? Stop are they going to be fighting terrorists all over the place now with pistols when the terrorists have all of our machine guns? They have our machine guns now. They don't even just have the Russians AK-47 stuff like that anymore. They have M16s. They have American assault rifles. They have American equipment. And as long as they're not afraid of being tainted with bacon, because every American likes pork and bacon stuff, then they'll use our equipment. But why is the government so afraid of us over sociopaths? Are they chickens? I think that they're chicken. Why would they do that? I want to read my comment to this person. I just told her off, sort of. And I wanted to say it on my video before they erased it or had the chance to erase it, because they are a bunch of propaganda liars. I am not for lying. If I said something, I will come clean and I will take my punishment or whatever, like a man. I've always been that way, probably because of the way I was raised. But I'm not afraid of a good ass whooping either. But I'm always ready. So, anyways, Jenny, Lynn, I wanted her attention big time. There's no way to go back and take guns from this guy. And moving forward, there is no way to prevent this unless you strip everybody from their guns, which you will have to pry them out of the cold, dead fingers of everybody. Regardless if crazy, mental or not, you are cowards and shells. And again, it takes an evil, twisted SOB to do this kind of thing, not a mentally ill person. You are targeting mentally ill people, and you should be cursed. Anybody can end up going off the reservation. You you take and take until there is nothing left to take. No money, no more, and people will be gone. True statement. The gunman killed the wrong people. Politicians that think taking my ability to protect myself makes me safer. Really, put my life in the air for your government takeover or your government um scandal or priority or whatever you want to call it. Where is my freedom and safety? They're gone. My freedom's gone and my safety is gone. We have no rights or protection. I just said one more thing to this person right here. You never know. She said something that sounded right, except this right here was complete fake shooting and setup of this sheriff. There is no way that I believe that Douglas County, the place that I called home for 18 years, no matter what went on with me there, with the authorities, okay, and me personally not wanting a relationship with them at all, I'm not going to stab the sheriffs or any of the police there in the back and say that they are liars I will not do that. Will I go as far as saying that they say tell the truth? I think that there's a lot of truth behind um, what there is to be said by the sheriff, regardless of my own personal feelings towards the person, whatever that is. I put that aside right now, okay, for a second. I just want to clarify that there is no way that me personally, I believe that the sheriff or the authorities would be behind a cover up. It would be highly questionable to about the FBI. I would want to go and actually I'm going to try to investigate and find out the timeline of the FBI. And I'll know that this was a setup from the federal government if the FBI, not the local cops, but the FBI was there in a flash before like they were there with all the rest of the normal responders, because that would be highly questionable to me, and I'll be thinking, well, why in the hell were they so close to the scene when that happened? It just, I mean, this whole thing just shocks me for it to be that close to home. This place is, I was a student senator there during uh, 9/11 when September 11th happened, and I had a lot of good intentions and priorities for the school and things that I had set in front of myself with the help of other like school politician people that really truly did care about the students and the welfare of the school. So we were all ears. Also, with opposition, I just think this is very tragic, and it's really very shocking to me. So I think that I've kind of gone through my kind of saddening, kind of turmoil feeling, where I don't want to be public, be out there publicly if if I'm going to make people who are involved, especially or live there, sad by something that I say or act. So I'm in my strong, firm mode now. So I'm ready to go. I'm good to go. So here's the other comment I have here. Yeah, you showed me where this asshole had a mental background. Again, it wasn't mental, it was a sociopath. You have you have to be able to make a law to be able to go after sociopaths and people in particular that were doing what he was doing online. So we have cops checking all of us out, I guess, like the internet police that Obama's got out there. More propaganda, but yet, all these other guys, if there's people in jobs like that, and they let people like that puke go unchecked, and there's other people talk their shit on the internet, and then go ahead and go and murder people. The police on the internet that are monitoring that shit, that overlooked that or didn't do nothing about that, those guys should be took out and whipped. You know what I mean? People want to talk about, oh, that's medieval. Oh, you can't go back to old medieval times. The hell you say? My opinion is those people let fear be struck into people. It was a very unnecessary. In a place that is very concerning to everybody. So I don't know um, how we are going unchecked like this. And people, again, in my opinion, sometimes if they make me mad enough coming from a political stance as politicians, make me almost think that they should be shot on sight. I mean, close to having that opinion, if not there. Okay, I'm just saying, short of that, these internet monitors that are allowing these attacks to go down, that could have prevented it before the timelines when it occurred, need to be drug out, taken out, and beat down and whipped. And people are not that stupid in this country to not know that that's not what is going on. How do you not know that there's not signs? Did you know? I believe, I believe that the Bible. I believe in the Bible, but I believe it's basically symbolically um, suggests or tells that everything like this shooting here could have been stopped, could have been prevented. Um, they could throw a wrench, a real wrench, into terrorist plots and plans, but until Obama's gone, until the left is gone in particular and out of there, then people from that top position will stop being weak and stop feeling that the terrorists need a one leg up on our society and our people. Like we deserve shit. You know what I mean? So I have somebody again arguing with me on uh, about America, and they're being really stupid and dumb because regardless if people want to say it or not, and they can call me racist all they want. I really don't care. But when they say black people built America, that is not only not true, but that is leading into them saying what they're subliminally saying with their subliminal messages everywhere. Like this is a message from Obama or something to me. He was trying to get under my skin here. With the subliminal message suggestion, um, the subliminal message is um, what is it? I have to. I lost it. I lost my thought. So I'll read the rest of this and move on so I can put my face back up on the screen. Sure, they would have a criminal background already on them enough to prevent from buying a gun. Bottom line is if people want a gun or guns, they will get one. If let's see, I know for a fact it really happened because this person right here was saying that it was fake, it was a setup by the sheriff. That is not true. That is not true. It really happened. This happened the last community that I lived before I moved to where I'm at now, and I lived there for 18 years at this place, and went to school there, and was a student senator there during the years when September 9/11 happened. So that just dawned on me today. That's why I'm saying that. Online is if people want a gun or guns, they will get one. Yeah, so the guy didn't have what they're saying, suggesting is go after the mentally ill. Let's make more laws. Let's make more laws against the mentally ill. They haven't been attacked enough lately, even though even though it's a sociopath that did it. We're going to attack the mentally ill again. And that's what Obama's doing. He's making a political thing out of the whole thing. And he's stupid. He's an idiot. So put that with your conspiracy theory. However you think this happened, conspiracy or whatever, I'm going to listen to the authorities sort through the whole thing, and then I'll make my judgment on what really happened. But I have friends in the area, and a friend of mine who was my best friend, one of my best friends for a really long time when I lived there. We played Madden football game on PlayStation every night. 4 years, for a whole time, me, him, and another guy. But he said that his buddy, who he hangs out with now, his buddy that he has there since I've been gone, he's been a friend of the guy for a while, was one of the people that got that got murdered in there. He said that to me yesterday in a message on Facebook. I haven't been back on Facebook yet, but he didn't respond back to me. The guy is in a hard position because of the economy being so left, loony Democrat in that state. When I left that state, it was already about 22% unemployment when I left there. People would hire you in that state, then before they could give you benefits and other stuff, they would fire you. So you had to really be on your P's and Q's if you wanted to work somewhere long enough to get retire or get benefits from. It's just kind of the way things are run there. I went to school there when 9/11 happened, and my nephews go to school there in my absence today. My friend Chad was one of my best friends. Still lives in Roseburg too. Said his buddy got smoked. So people truly really did get killed. And I know that sheriff too. And there's no way that I'll agree with that person there. People have a right to their own opinions. This person right here doesn't know that sheriff in particular, so hasn't ever had an experience with that sheriff in that community. So I don't think that that's very appropriate to to be talking to the guy like that. I think this is a really bad time for people to tell the sheriff that. It's my opinion. Now would be a good time to probably say something encouraging to him in the community. So why don't the Democrats want us to have guns or be familiar with them and be good with them? It's because they want control and they're afraid of our enemies. So this is what the liberals sort of do, I believe. Realistically, this is what they do. They choose between going after us or our enemies, and often they um, talk about protecting us and helping us, but they go after us instead of our enemies. So then what happens is liberals, and they're smart too, so they make the most cleverest, cunning, smartest, sociopathic type of comments and things that they come up with to help our enemy, to bolster our enemies, to actually poop on our allies and us. And that's what the Democrats do. So we have to think, um, what do I want to see? Or if I was a politician, right, and I was a senator or governor or congressman or something, I would want to do the opposite of what liberals are doing, honestly, because they are cowards whenever they look at the two. Like, should I be afraid of my constituents and what people out here can do to me? They look at the laws that they can do to these people to restrain them, opposed to their enemy. And I don't even know what they're going to do when it comes to the enemy, because except that they're going to kiss the enemies behind. Short and sweet. So that's why Democrats want to take our guns and give them to our enemies, is because they are afraid of the enemy and not afraid of us. of the constituents. How long it takes to kill an attacker compared to the time it takes to cops to get there. We went over that a little bit, so it's was in people with guns versus people without guns. So I said that the guy would have been down right away if people were trained in pistols, handgun safety and protection and stuff like that. So that's the real. You can't have gun control unless you get one in your hand, and then it's how you control yourself and the firearm in your life when it comes down to it. This is so sociopathic. It is not mental illness. I'm so sick of this, and it took me a real long time to figure out that he was actually attacking mentally ill people once again. Do I need to go and show you mentally ill people? Haven't been through enough, haven't been humiliated enough, haven't been put down, beat up, spit on, cursed at. Okay, so I'm gonna go on my own time and I'm gonna look because I didn't do that before I did this. I was compelled to throw myself into this right away. So this video here, so I will look at the FBI's involvement in particular, and I will look at a pattern from them, and I'll see how long it took them to get on the scene. It should have took them a while, a lot whiler than the local authorities there. And how much control do people really think that the local authorities like the Roseburg Sheriff's Department or even the Oregon State Police should not be able to go in there and conduct that and kick the FBI out of there and tell the FBI that they don't have jurisdiction there anymore, because those guys all need to be working side by side, hand in hand, because they're not working against the objective goal. They're supposed to work together on the case, forensically and technically, hand in hand. They're the same. So one, there, the positions: local, state, and federal, what their positions are. But the federal government has cried way too much, in my opinion, when they first started. Here, they did not go after and sue states for different things states were doing. They would sit back and they would allow states to make up their own mind, not overrule the whole country from the federal government. And that's where I call bullshit on the Supreme Court in particular, because that's highly unconstitutional in my opinion, and they are not constitutional bearing people. They do not look at everybody else's constitutional rights. They're trying to get people more rights ahead of other people and strip people's rights away with them, with the liberals and with the government. In my opinion, that's what I see there. You're gonna let gay people sue people because they won't make them a cake? That happened right there in Oregon too, as a matter of fact. A lot going on there, but remember, Oregon made a law to legalize gay marriage there. People voted for it. If the people voted for it, that's what I was always supportive of, was if they voted for it. I didn't say shit. I didn't say jack shittily do when they passed it like that. And the federal government stayed out of the state's ass. I did not get involved. I didn't say a word. I refrained, and I didn't even have an uncomfortable feeling about it. But this overpowering force from the government is completely unconstitutional, and the dude Obama really needs to be stripped of all of his power, and then some action legally needs to be taken against the man. So that is coming from somebody in a position where they would say a mentally ill person did this, and they got my position totally distorted and twisted to where I can't ever even be accepted as a person, where I can't ever change. So here we go again. We've got the government making examples of mentally ill people, and they can never change. They're never going to be good people. They have to. They have no gun rights. They have no right to talk. You have no right to speak. Are you serious? You have no right, you mentally ill son of a bitch, you. Well, you're not a sociopath, you son of a bitch. So that's where I feel that's the attitude, that's the sum I got from Obama. So that's why I don't watch or listen to the guy, but he was speaking on like it's not targeted at college that I went to during 9/11, September 11th. And this is what I do. I protest against the liberal left wing government. So, like it wasn't aimed at me. All I can tell you is that I'm pretty irritated. I'm pretty upset. And I'm very mad that, for whatever the reason, people would do this to other people. It's beyond my rationality. Um, So I was a student senator in 2001 at Umpqua Community College, UCC. They helped me get my adult high school diploma there before I cut out of there. I tried, like I said, I had hardships and a hard time there also, but I say that they benefited me greatly, and it was a really time I wouldn't trade. Well, before this happened too, I wouldn't trade it either. I think it's um, very um, uh, respectable to you know glorify Umpqua Community College at this time. To talk about all of the most positive things, like I said, um, no time ever would I ever think of trading in my time there. I had hard times there. I protested. I did different things. I was an activist, actively for the interest of the school in particular, and school interest and students' interest there. So I know what that's like and all about. I just, with the hardships that I've had also in my life, I'm just saying I wouldn't trade my time there for anything. You'd have to, I wouldn't consider something in trade for the time that I had there. It's a beautiful place, wonderful people. It's a brilliant atmosphere. I don't know how you can describe that, if that people logically put that in their mind, but it really is. It's a brilliant atmosphere at Umpqua. It is truly like a sacred place. You want to be, you go. It's a place like you go there and you don't really talk about it because it's sacred, and you don't want people going there and trashing it. You don't want people going there and doing something destructive or harmful or bad to the place. So maybe that's another thing with the coincidence that wraps the whole thing up into coincidentiality, or however you'd say if the whole thing's a coincidence like that, is because it is a tranquil, peaceful place. So where else would you go and do that if you were an attacker? I guess you would go to a peaceful, tranquil place where you don't even have to go to college there and be enrolled there. You could go there with everybody else, go check out the school, sit around the bench, go to their lobby, go to the cafeteria, um, and just chill out there for a day and relax. It's that nice of a school. It really is. To where you could just go there and enjoy yourself just a day. You don't even have to be a a student there. So we cannot go back in time. We cannot change what's already happened. We have to channel this attitude in this direction that we're going with this and understand that it's a sociopathic pattern and way that these people are. So all I want to say is isn't this not an attack on the mentally ill? Like I said again, the mentally ill have not been through enough in this country. They have to be stampeded. They have to be trampled out. They have to be one of the first people to go. Just like all the old people and everybody else that gets in this government's way. Like just with the sheriffs too. The sheriffs are right in there with mentally ill. If you think that they're not a target of Obama's and the left wing and all these other people, you're highly mistaken. But they I also believe that people that are a witness, people that are smart enough to be a witness to what's going on, have to also be killed off also in a communist society. You know what a communist world really means. So it's just blatantly wrong to talk about people like that. So I say yes, it's an attack on the mentally ill, on mental health. Not going after these sociopaths for what they are, but we're going to go ahead and distract and we're going to go the wrong direction and we're going to look at mentally ill people. We're just going to go ahead and do that to mentally ill people. Put a label, a stamp on them. They can never change. Just like people that go to prison. They can never change with these people. Once you change it, it's changed. It's a done deal. Two snaps and a flip flap and a flipper. That's what Obama's saying. So yeah, and look at all the stuff that I was saying yesterday, and then look at all the stuff that Obama was doing politically after I said it. So I know him and other politicians are paying attention, and he's got a little over a year left in there. We need to really take this dude's power away from him if we can. Notice when Bill Clinton was impeached, he still did things from the executive standpoint and still did passed his communist legislation that killed the country. Yes, he did. Yeah. So it is because they're saying these crimes are not committed by insane people, but by sociopath people. The crimes are committed by insane people with mental disorders. That is not true. So people have been going along with this whole entire thing, letting Obama, allowing him to pass this thing around like it's a mental disorder issue. Other people are even saying it, and it is not. It is a sociopathic thing altogether. Only an evil person can think of something like that, and mentally ill people are not evil. Not all of them. Some of them could be sociopaths, but that's a disorder in itself, and that does not describe mentally ill patients or people. I'm sorry. So he's talking about cramming something else down people's throat, and not even taking the time to process the whole entire thing, to let people talk about it or generate the right ideas and promote the right things from going on legally, from a legal standpoint. So instead of getting rid of stupid laws, going after that, they want to make more stupid laws that make absolutely no sense, that throw mental health people with mental health issues right under the bus. That's where we're at. Like as if they sit there and they think like there's not a pattern. Like I said before, I believe the Bible is telling us that all of these things can be stopped, can be prevented. When I look at the Bible and I think about this stuff, that's just honestly what I think is that that Bible is telling me this could have been prevented. This could have been thwarted. The authorities could have stopped it. The local people could have had more information, but no. And not only that, but what about having a setup? So if you would have known that this guy was coming or somebody is going to pull off an attack, have it staged up where it looks like the students go inside the classroom or like they're going to be there. Have them in the student cafeteria or the lobby and have the police sit there for a sting so they could set these terrorists up is what they are. People who do that are not only a sociopath, they're a terrorist. So you're calling mentally ill people terrorists. Did Obama not call Christians terrorists too? And this guy right here, he lined up people and he shot Christians in the head. So it really irks me. It gets under my skin even a little bit more because I have been not radical at all. I have just been voicing my opinion on my strong opinions of Christians that I believe that people who are non-Christians, like pagans and other non-believers, should give us more support for supporting people being atheists and stuff like that. And they get they get nasty with people on the internet and stuff like that. I really wish that there was a way where the authorities let us, if they want to take us out somewhere, take me and somebody who's giving me lip on the internet somewhere where we can get in each other's face and then we can see if these people want to talk to me in my face like that. I would love to have that set up. I would kiss the police and the authorities' butt. I would kiss their butt for the rest of my life, natural life. I seriously would. I would be in authorities. I would be indebted to the police for my life. I would owe them if they would set up a time and place for me to be with every single one of them, one after another. That would be great. Anybody who gave me lip, and me vice versa, I give somebody else lip. At least go there and at least give them a chance to see me personally, and then see if they don't talk to me like that and want to fight, or if they will come back off their words. Me too. Same with me. If I give somebody else a hard time like that, vice versa. Not show where the person's address or where they live, but just have us go to the same place. One place, neutral place and meet. Spend the money on it. Have the authorities spend the money on that. On us taking a bus, get a bus ticket, simple bus ticket, something like that. You can get a voucher to get on a bus or a train or something through the authorities, and they can send us to a neutral place to go talk it out for a day. On a convenient time for both people. I would be indebted to the authorities for that. Indebted. I would go to no ends to help. There would be nothing I would not do to not benefit the authorities. Like as if I don't already try my best to stay out of their way and not be not a nonsensical person when it comes to them as it is. Sometimes we all have our moments, but not like this. Not like this. I have my moments, we all have our own moments, but not moments where we go and shoot up a whole entire classroom of people. We do not have moments like that. I'm sorry, this is insanity. It's destructive, it's callous, and it's irresponsible. It's reckless. It's vicious, it's maniacal, it is so disgusting to go after mentally ill people in this country. Like we can't help benefit people. We can't do our best to help people out, change people for the better. We must attack them. It must be a blatant attack on people's sovereignty, their rights, their freedom, and their ability to protect oneself if one has to. You know, and if you give people these rights, I'm telling you, there's enough without anybody even getting killed. Laws already on the books to have people have them keep from getting obtaining weapons. But a lot of people have them, and um, they not everybody is all together. So again, if you're going after that, you're talking about a lot of Americans that would lose their gun rights. So you're going to enforce the law, the authorities, the government, or the police, or the troops to go and, you know, swarm all these people and round all of them up or round their guns up, take their gold away from them while you're at it. We might as well kick them right, open their butt cheeks open and have another government army guy kick them right in their butthole while another army guy's sitting there holding their butt cheeks open for the other guy, right? That's what Obama wants. It's basically what I see. You know, innocent people need to be violated. Mentally ill people need to be violated. They could never move on from their situation. They can never be a better person. They're always going to be a pathetic, mentally ill person. That's what we're dealing with. This kind of ludicrousy in the White House. So, again, last thing is these acts are carried out by a sociopath. If you want to catch the pattern of this destructive behavior in these people and you want to stop this thing from happening, stop going after mentally ill people and people who have the most challenges that you could ever think of to throw at people in one's life to where they can almost sometimes get over that hump by the time they die is the time that some of these people that you're going after now to their own personal life finally succeed is at the time when they after they're dead or right when they're about to die. So I don't know why people think there's not a heaven and a hell realistically. I mean, for real, there absolutely is a reason for heaven and hell. So that's another reason why I'd be practical and say that there's just some things you can't do about. People all need to be careful of who they are screwing with. there's there is spirituality going on, but I don't know what people. That's pretty ridiculous as it is right there, and that sounds a little bit sociopathic too. Actually, to say spiritual and not religious. How can you be spiritual and not religious? It sounds condescending, sort of, and really hypocritical for somebody to say that. Oh, I believe in ghosts, but I don't believe in God. Or I believe in the devil, but I don't put my faith in God. That's a hypocrite, a true hypocrite. It's nonsense. People will be, yeah, people will be stamped, and they'll get the stamp. They'll get the stamp from the government instead of the sociopath stamp. They're gonna get the mental ill stamp. So I just wanted to point out how super wrong it is to go after people for a mental illness instead of calling it or how it truly is. Look at here. See if this has been on my hat. You see that? Oregon. I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see it's the state of Oregon seal on my hat. Then I've got an American pin right here. It says America is #1 thanks to our veterans. Then I have an American flag pin. And this right here, the "Don't Tread on Me" type of slogan. It says the right to keep and bear arms. Don't tread on me is what that pin says right there. This is my hat. I've been wearing that, and I've had these pins all on that hat. I took them off of my suits, and put them on this cap. They've been on there for probably about 3 or 4 years. Three or 3 or 4 years, these pins have been on this hat. So that's my position. Um, don't stamp mentally ill people anymore. Quit stabbing them in the back. Quit going after them. Help their depressed state. Help people with depression or people with mental illness out for real. Don't throw them under a bus for your political cause and your gain. Just to go ahead and do it and to use people to distort facts and the true timeline and event that really actually occurred. And again, the last thing I will say here is I guess pagans are now executing people, are going in and causing terrorist attacks. So there's terrorist pagans now. If that's what this guy was, that somehow he was created, came about, pagan terrorist. I've only heard of terrorists being terrorist, Muslim, radical Muslim terrorist extremists. This is a terrorist act. So is that another way that we can define this as a something other than a terrorist act? Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.